Although coral reefs occupy less than 1% of the ocean floor, 25% of all marine life call coral reefs home, but their homes are threatened. The oceans have been dramatically changing, and this change is going unnoticed. We are living in the midst of the world's 6th mass extinction event. In every one of the previous 5 mass extinction events, more than 90% of every living thing on Earth died. This is exactly what is happening right now. We are failing to protect the environment and contributing to global warming, depletion of resources, and pollution of the bodies of water we rely on for our survival and our economy. To capture these changes, a team of global underwater explorers set out to document the aquatic ecosystems around the world through the conservation initiative Project Baseline. Most recently, this movement of capturing and sharing the underwater world has taken the team to the islands of Fiji to document the health of their coral reefs and work with scientists and the local populations to better understand what is happening below the waves.
What we know by reports from the Great Barrier Reef is that all the reefs on the planet, even these, are at risk. And so I think it's our responsibility and certainly our mission as Project Baseline to try to get out here and document these reefs and try to work with entities like the University of the South Pacific, with other universities like Nova Southeastern University to understand what's here and try to present that not only to the scientists but also to the local people and to the world to try to get them to maybe care more about what's here and try a little bit harder to protect it.
The mission in Fiji involved 3 parts. A team of science divers conducted detailed documentation of specific coral colonies at depths between 12 and 30 meters, while a technical GUE dive team using rebreathers conducted 3-hour dives to gather 50-meter-long video transects. Lastly, the research was supplemented by a 3-person Triton submersible named Moby. Moby conducted dives between 50 and 360 meters, carrying scientists to study deep benthic life forms and collect samples.
As technical divers, they're able to go down and complete those tasks at depths that scientific divers don't normally conduct work, or bottom times such as 4 hours underwater. And that affords us the great ability to, as scientists, recon the site and then allow the technical divers to go in and collect the data that's needed to be able to statistically assess the communities down the road.
You can see the commercial fishing pressure on the reefs. I remember when we were here 20 years ago that there was just a lot more of the big predators, a lot more grouper, a lot more snapper, and they've just gone. If you haven't collected the data and you can't give something that's measurable, definitive, to prove to people that it's gone, it's just in my memory. And to come back and actually get more baseline data so that we can say, well, no, this is what's happening going forward is really important.
Over 50 transects were collected by the GUE dive team. From the initial data collected and the scientists' impressions of the reefs, Fiji's reefs appear to be healthier ecosystems with little negative impact. However, the reefs are not undamaged in areas close to highly populated islands that are visited by almost 700,000 tourists each year.
In the areas that we visited on this trip, we haven't seen evidence of mass bleaching. We have seen some disease, low levels of disease at most sites, and sites closer to human populations, we've seen an increase in dead coral and cyanobacteria blooms and other indicators that seem like they're probably being impacted by their locations.
The reefs that we have monitored so far are in relatively good health compared to other sides of the world. And in particular, to see that the Astrolabe reef is pretty much a pristine ecosystem, I think is a model. And it's obvious that the remoteness of the place and that the fact that it's far from human settlements makes a whole difference. I wish the rest of the world could pay attention on these things and look after the reefs, because this is the way it should be. When you're diving there, that's the only thing that you can think is, oh dear, I wish everything was like that.
Diving in a sub like Triton is a really amazing experience because it's a completely transparent acrylic sphere. So you get a real appreciation for the entire landscape, if you will, the sea floor in all different directions. One of the things we did find was that as we go up from deep water, from 300 meters, 400 meters, life gets more abundant and more diverse as you reach the top of the deep reef wall. So that was interesting. There were also some really interesting parallels with the Bahamas, where I've dived before, because both of these environments are limestone, they're reef-based, and you saw some of the same basic geological structures, and the organisms are adapting in the same ways to similar conditions on the opposite side of the world, which I found really interesting.
But it's not all about the science. The Fijians rely on the ocean to live. Their food and their economy depend on the health of the coral reefs surrounding the islands, and their livelihoods are threatened by the lack of understanding and protection that currently exists on the reefs.
These people that live right on the water, literally, they swim out here all the time, but they really have a limited knowledge of what's beneath the waves. They know there's coral reef there, but they haven't had a lot of opportunity to experience it for themselves. And certainly our, coming here has, I've been told by many of them, emphasized how special their home is to the world, and how important it is for them to better understand it, to work harder to protect it, and to insist that the rest of us try harder to protect it as well.
Only by returning to the same sites can we fully understand the changes occurring in these underwater environments and present the data necessary to study why we are losing these critical ecosystems and why certain areas are remaining vibrant and undamaged.